I've been with Keller Williams since I've been 18. Went to my first family reunion February of 2016 in New Orleans. John Newman brought me there. I was not an agent. At the time, I was the vice president of a real estate club that was about to do an event with Gary Vaynerchuk at University of Maryland. And so all my energy was about getting people to this event, connecting with Keller Williams agents, telling them to go see Gary V. We sold out the event. It was 1,000 people there. We bought $50,000 worth of his books. I introduced him on stage. I met with him. I went up to VaynerMedia a bunch. It was phenomenal. But I made all these connections with Keller Williams agents, and then I dropped out of school to go work for a startup.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tampa Bay Unlocked, the podcast where we dive into the dynamic world of real estate and business in the vibrant Tampa Bay area. Join us as we sit down with top agents and industry leaders who share their insights, strategies, and stories of success. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, our interviews will unlock the secrets to thriving in one of Florida's hottest markets. Get ready to be inspired, informed, and motivated by the experts shaping the future of Tampa Bay. Tune in and let's unlock the wisdom from our next guest. I have Jared Dykas, the inside sales manager for the Jac Smith Group and one of the funniest guys in the business that I know. Jared, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Ryan.
Yeah, dude, I'm pumped up.
I love that thing you got on your phone, the little hole thing.
The ring.
The ring. I feel like real estate agents need that so that they can like pick up the phone real quick.
Well, bro, people are like, you don't have a case on your phone? I'm like, no, I just have this thing.
You'll never drop it.
You don't drop it. I mean, it is magnetic, so it does like come off. But I say my phone's either in my hand or in my pocket.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
You got to answer that bad boy.
You got it.
You can't be missing calls.
No, you can't be missing calls.
So before we get into all the fun things that you and I will talk about, for those who are like an inside sales manager, what does that mean?
Great question. So arguably the most important aspect of real estate, as we know, is
lead generation.
Exactly. And what do most agents want to do is they want to close deals, but they don't want to book the appointment themselves. And so from a team standpoint, we're seeing a lot of real estate teams and brokerages move into this land of like giving out leads. But the problem is with that is that most of these leads, they're not piping hot. So you got to nurture them. And why is an agent going to nurture someone who's 8 months down the road right in this instant when there's a buyer that is literally pre-approved for $400,000 in Pinellas Park right
for tomorrow?
Now? Exactly.
Yeah.
So for that reason, a lot of successful teams over the past several years have created this model of an inside sales agent, which is nothing more than a glorified cold caller. And what I do is I book listing appointments and buyer consultations, mostly listings, with the team. And the top agents on the team, they go on the appointment from a cold call that I make, and then I manage the relationship up until the point that an agreement is signed. It's part of the value of being on our team is that we give you business, but at the same time, it's part of the value of joining the team because this whole ISA program is actually what is designed to weed you out of our group. Meaning, if you do want to join our team, it takes 90 days to prove yourself in this role. And then if you do prove it, it's not a forever thing. You become an agent.
So you just turned off so many people when you use the word cold call.
Exactly.
Ugh, cold call. Yeah. Why is that such a thing for people? What's your thoughts on that?
I think people are afraid, man. I think people...
What? Let's talk about fear.
Rejection. I look at cold calling like a pack of 52 cards in a deck, right? If I flip open a pack of 52 cards and I flip and it's a queen, I'm like, all right, I'm looking for the 4 aces. And I flip it, it's a jack. Oh, it's a 10, it's a 2, it's a 4. At any point when I'm flipping over these cards, do you think I'm concerned that there's not 4 aces in the deck? There's always 4 aces. And every jack that I pull, every 10, 7, 3, 2, all of those are getting me closer to my ace. I'm just looking for the ace, brother. You see what I'm saying?
100%. What a mindset. But if you make enough calls, you will find a winner.
Absolutely.
You'll find a lead.
And it's cool to track your numbers.
How did you get yourself to that frame? I think there's so much gold here.
I did door-to-door sales for 3 years for Verizon Fios.
Man, and that just puckers people up a little bit, right? Makes their armpits
sweaty. You thought cold calling was bad.
Right.
Off, dude. Get out of here.
Yeah.
I got Comcast, and I got a gun in the back I'll bring it out here type stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm in like crazy parts of New Jersey.
So were you scared when you were doing that?
No,
Never scared.
No.
So how Jared? Come on, like what? For
It's
some
fun.
people, they get so nervous, armpit sweaty, anxiety to where they can't move. Even the thought of walking up to someone's door.
Yeah.
And you've been threatened, and it doesn't bother
I keep
you?
going, man. I pound the pavement, not the people, man.
I love that.
I'm gonna door knock after this. It's the only way, in my opinion, to get free business besides cold calling.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing social media, like, and there's tons of other ways to get business, but like, they're at their house. You're selling their house. Go to their house and talk to them. Like, do you think lions are afraid to talk to other lions?
No.
Then why are humans so afraid to talk to other humans?
Well, because they don't want to be bothered. Mm-hmm. Right? Isn't it?
But like,
I don't
I'm
want to
not
bother
bothering you. I'm providing value. I just sold your neighbor's property
you
at
have such a good
123 Main
mindset
Street.
around it. So how do we get other people? How do you help someone get to where you're at? Because it sounds like it's becoming a natural thing for you. And you know, I mean, do stand-up comedy. I don't know if you want to talk about that at all, but I think that has something to do. I mean, putting yourself out there in that regard. So the fear aspect, or whether that's an adrenaline hit that you just enjoy, right?
Wow, it might actually be that.
The adrenaline.
I'm not some savant. You know what I mean? Like, I like the adrenaline aspect of cold calling and all that stuff. But to be honest, I think like you have to, number one, identify that you hate it. Number two, ask yourself, why do I hate it? And then number three, like, just do it.
Do you hate it?
If it was up to me, yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Okay. But
I love the fact that it's something that people hate and that I don't hate it that much.
You hate it less.
I hate it less. I hate it way less. And if I get a closing out of it, like, are you
Then
kidding
you hate
me?
it. Then you start to love it.
Exactly. So you just got to start. I tell people all the time, like, you don't need to script practice like all day long to just call someone. What did you say the other day at the team meeting with Gary Keller about like doing a hard thing, for example, with picking up a pen?
Oh, nothing's hard. He was
Yeah.
saying nothing. Like, we make things hard that don't need to be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
His thing, just do the work.
exactly. 25 conversations a day minimum is what I would say.
Yes.
With new contacts.
I love that, dude. You have such your mindset's rock solid around that. You can tell you're locked in on that.
It's math.
Yeah.
You know, it's an equation game. It's like reverse engineering how many calls it takes, and then you just go from
for someone
there.
listening to this right now, that it's like, there's no way I'm ever cold calling, but I need business.
Do it. Do it anyway. Literally, okay, if you're like, I will never cold call, but you know what, Jared? I feel risky enough to cold call once. Go to Zillow.com, put in your zip code, go to for sale by owner, go to newest, click the first one as long as it's over 200 grand, and then call them and say, hey, I understand that you're going to sell your property, probably by yourself. Congratulations, sir. However, in the case that 3 months goes down the line and it's still not selling, at what point will you think about interviewing an agent for the job of selling your property?
Is that what you say?
That's what I say. I mean,
I can tell it's well
I'm
practiced.
telling people that that's what they should say.
Right.
You should call.
Yeah.
I was thinking about just going to California, Zillow, and booking an appointment for like a luxury agent and just getting a 25% referral fee
Yeah, you
off
don't
of like
care.
a $13 million. Why does it matter?
Right.
The
See,
number's on there. They're asking to get called. They do not believe in the real estate agent. They think that the real estate agent is a low paid functionary robot and they're trying to replace us. And more people are going FISBO. I look at it as my duty to bring an agent into the equation.
Yes. Because you understand the value. And when they don't sell, then they call one anyhow.
You ever see someone go to a lawsuit without a lawyer? Could you imagine a for trial by prosecutor
Yeah,
or
no, there
whatever?
probably are
Like,
people that do it and know where they end up in jail.
in jail, exactly.
That's such, I mean, you can tell you're so locked in on that. I loved your analogy with the cards. Great visual, easy. You know it's in there.
Yeah, man.
You just it could be the last 4 cards you flip.
And it could be the follow-up, too.
Yep.
I went on a for sale by owner appointment because I had an open house at Bayshore in Tampa, and it was right near it in Hyde Park. The guy was a real estate agent. He's a for sale by owner broker. I walk in there, I do the whole appointment, I bring my chocolates, I bring my orchids, I do the listing presentation. He loves it. Months go by. He hits me up on WhatsApp. He's in Italy. He wants a listing agreement. This is a real estate agent.
Wow. But you left such an impression, which you learned.
And he understood that he couldn't sell it all by himself, not with a 7-star white glove service team like the Jac Smith Group. You know, we came into there and hopefully are getting it sold. So, it takes the fortunes and the follow-up is what people will say.
100%.
Right?
Jared, let's talk about your history a little bit of how you got into real estate, right? Because your journey is unique compared to most. So let's go there. Like, take us back to day one before, like, because you didn't have your license for a while.
For years, man. I've been with Keller Williams since I've been 18. Went to my first family reunion February of 2016 in New Orleans. John Newman brought me there. I was not an agent. At the time, I was the vice president of a real estate club that was about to do an event with Gary Vaynerchuk at University of Maryland. And so all my energy was about getting people to this event, connecting with Keller Williams agents, telling them to go see Gary V. We sold out the event. It was 1,000 people there. We bought $50,000 worth of his books. I introduced him on stage. I met with him. I went up to VaynerMedia a bunch. It was phenomenal. But I made all these connections with Keller Williams agents, and then I dropped out of school to go work for a startup, right? This is in like 2016. All this stuff happens I'm not going to get into. And then probably sometime around COVID, after I'm done door knocking because we can't go door to door anymore, John Newman, who took me to that family reunion, hits me up and says, I need someone to build an inside sales agent division. And I think you'd be great with all your experience inside of door knocking. Now, at this time, I've never cold called. I've only door knocked and did traditional sales and inbound stuff. So Newman was really interested in bringing me onto the team, and that's when I decided to move to Maryland. Your friend Nick Skabinski came with me as well, my best friend, and we grew Think Real Estate. And that first year during COVID, I brought 60 listings to the team through an inside sales agent model that made the business like our business, not what the agent made, like, but we profited over $250,000 in company dollar just from those listings in that year alone. So the division was very successful, and that's like what got me into Keller Williams essentially.
I love that, and what a track record.
Yeah.
Right. So it's been a journey of almost, we're at 8 years of you in this model and thinking this way. And it shows because you have zero fear, my friend, when it comes up to going to knock on the door or pick up the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, you're begging me regularly for leads of people to call. Whether that's agents or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's unlike anyone else. And that's a huge compliment
Thank
to you.
you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. To watch you grow is incredible. And I'm inspired.
There are
every
things
day.
I'm afraid of.
Like what?
Death.
What about death is scary?
I don't know what's going to happen. What if it's like just like the same SpongeBob episode over and over again? You know what I mean? That'd be terrible.
What, like you relived the whole thing over again?
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. But there's a lot of things I'm afraid of. Like, what if I don't find someone that I truly love?
It's a lot.
What if I die with regrets?
Well, just don't.
A lot of it is like towards the end of my life. I'm not like afraid. I'm afraid, but like I'm putting the afraidness to like, I'll be afraid when I'm 70. You know what I mean?
70's still young, dude.
Yeah, that's what people are saying.
Yeah, you see that. Look at Jack. He'll run circles around.
Oh,
you.
exactly. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Yeah. If you don't know, Jac Smith is 71, 72. 71.
That's classified.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. It might be. No, but he works harder than anybody.
He works very hard.
Yeah.
Very hard worker.
Okay, but you're not afraid in the immediate.
No, because what's going to happen? You know, I always think like, what's the worst case scenario? Someone comes outside and tells me to get off their property. That's okay. You know, whatever.
And calling, you don't even have to worry.
No.
Just make sure they're not on the do not call list.
Exactly. TCPA compliant.
Yes.
I know. I have every person on the do not call list in my contacts so that if I call them, I see that, you know.
You know.
And then I just hang up.
Oh, whoa. That's a good idea. You have this thing systematized like no other, but this is your job.
Yep. This is my job, man. It's really just to book appointments for the team and to grow the amount of agents booking appointments for the team.
Well, if there's anyone that can do it, it's you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. And you're new to the Tampa Bay area.
Definitely. Oh, thank you for that.
Why?
Because on the Talking St. Pete episode, we talked about how like you were the person that convinced me to kind of come down here. So that was really cool.
Yes.
But yeah, man, like I know nobody. So how else am I going to get business except for expireds, cancels, and FSBOs and
Open
door
houses?
knocking and open houses? But dude, that's so inbound in my opinion. Like I have 2 open houses this weekend. I am leaving here after this interview to door knock both neighborhoods for until 6 o'clock. And then I'm going to wake up tomorrow, put flyers out, do the whole shebang. And then while I'm at the house, I'm going to be cold calling the neighborhood, telling people to come to the open house, not to check it out and to see, like, pick your neighbors. No, because I want to show you what this home's worth. And then after you're done here, I'm going to tell you with no obligation exactly how much you'd be able to sell your property for. And the reason why you want to do this before is because if I have a buyer that doesn't like this home, they might like your home. And if you're open to accepting an offer or at least entertaining them, then you're going to want to check out this property in Snell Isle.
Dude, it's like we just pushed play.
Exactly.
Like you're well practiced.
Yeah.
Well practiced. That's important. I think out of this is scripting. How important is practicing what you're going to say?
Absolutely. It's so important. We can get into Phil Jones a little bit, but like every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, our team does 30 minutes of script practicing together. We have pitch wars where we say the same script at the same time. Like, and then whoever breaks loses, and it's a competition. There's gifts and different rewards and stuff. And then every morning, I practice pitch with the ISAs at like 10:45 before we all do cold calling together.
There's a warm up.
Yes, a warm up even after. We're always practicing. Like I might call Bela and be like, "Hey, Bela, this is Jared Dykas from the Jac Smith Group at Keller Williams Luxury here in downtown St. Pete." Like just like randomly call him and just pitch him. You know what I mean?
Yep. It's good. It's good. How has this helped your comedy?
Well, people say that it's really helped my stage presence. Like when I go up there, I'm not typically too afraid. So like I have a good stage presence about me. It helped me think on my feet. When people say objections to you, and you'll hear every type of objection inside of real estate, it allows you to improv and kind of think on your feet. I'm really good at saying things like, "Oh, well, that's a great reason why," and then repeating back exactly what they said while I'm thinking about what to say. So, like, you learn a bunch of stuff. I think it really helped with comedy. Yeah, definitely.
So how long? I'm just intrigued now, and I think the listeners are like comedy.
Yeah,
When did
year.
When did you start? A year?
A year, but I did it less than a year because I like took like time off when I was transitioning into this new real estate role. Yes, I'm at your brokerage now, so thank you, bro. Left your brokerage to come to the other brokerage. Yeah, basically.
Right. True. Now that we got both.
You got both now, but yeah, man. You know,
but let's hold on. So, how has diving into the cold end of the pool, right, in these cold calls, knocking on doors, do you feel like that's helped your stage presence?
Definitely, because it's giving me more confidence. I don't care what people are thinking about me. Like Kenny Garcia from the Comedy Club all the time, the owner at Sunshine, he's like, you're not there for the audience. Like the audience is almost irrelevant. Like now in public speaking, like Train the Presenter, Keller Williams courses, they tell you like the audience is everything, which like it is. But in like comedy, maybe it's not because it's more about you as like a performance. You know, whereas like a public speaking or teaching something, you want to like engage with your students and ask them questions and have them come along with you for the journey. And I guess comedy can be like that, but I just try not to think about like what people are thinking or if I say something silly and no one laughs. It's whatever, man.
Yeah. No, it's true. The objection piece of cold calling is important. I find when it comes to objections, there's really probably only ever like 7 to 10 common ones. Do you find that?
Inside of real estate cold calling, yes. However, what I would say is I think it's cool to think about objections that a team leader would get.
Well, yeah, but in any what do you mean by that?
See, like with real estate conversations, it's like, oh, I don't have time, money, blah, 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 all the 7 objections. But like in your world, you're meeting with leadership and different agents, and there's different intricacies, not in a sales process way, but objections in terms of doing something for the culture or this or an idea. And there's different obstacles, I'm saying. Either way, it might not even be a verbal dialogue obstacle, but I'm just saying either way, you have to learn to overcome those objections, whether it's through scripts or challenges at work. I'm just saying, like, yeah, inside of real estate, there might only be 7, but in your world, there's an infinite amount of objections that could possibly pop up.
I don't think so.
Really? You think it's that simple?
It is. There may be more. There may be different branches of objections. But if we bring it back to the core, there's always a set of questions that you can ask to go further past the objection.
So you kind of think it's like smoke and mirrors a little bit.
Always.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So to me, objections, there's always something greater behind that, and it's on me to ask a good question to figure out why you just said that. So that way we can put that aside. Now let's really talk.
Wow.
Because I think people are always trying to put a curtain in between the real them and what they're thinking.
Yeah.
So I'm like, good try.
That's cool, man. That's powerful too. And I've seen you do that with like either Tony Baroni or Jack up in front of the room. Like you ask powerful questions.
I appreciate that. And so I don't objections. Yeah. Like if it's about, well, this is why I can't join the broker. Like it's just getting to core questions.
Definitely.
As to why they're saying that. And I think in any type of selling real estate, selling a car, getting someone to join somewhere, go on a trip with your friends. Like objections show up everywhere.
Definitely.
Right? And so once you hear enough of them, you start to see patterns.
Yeah.
And now you know, oh, I know the question to ask this to get past that pattern.
That's cool.
Because you're just going deeper in someone's conscious. Because they think someone who doesn't handle a lot of objections and you give someone one who doesn't, they're like, oh, okay, nope, that's fine.
Yeah, it's a no.
But when you hear it all the time, you're like, okay, but... Psh.
Exactly. Now, what I will say is I do 2 no's and go. That's my philosophy.
Well, there is...
I get 2 no's and then I'm like, okay, no means no, I'm off. You know what I mean?
It means no for now.
Yep.
It means no for now.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And you just keep
time is
up.
on your side sometimes. And if you ask good questions and you plant seeds, we learn from in the disc profile, right? There's certain personality types where people will say no or I need time no matter what, even if they want to say yes because they need to go sleep on it, pray on it, meditate, ask advice, make sure that they're aligned because maybe they don't fully trust their gut. And that's where some people are out of line with intuition.
That's cool, man.
And so that
disc is crazy.
It is crazy, but it's also as a sales professional, as a leader, being able to look at someone and recognize we may be right on the same page, and there's no way I'm going to get you to say yes right now.
Yeah.
And recognizing that and not letting them feel pressured allows them to create space to say yes. Whereas if you did put them in the vice, it pushes them away even more.
Wow.
Did I explain that well?
No, you did. I think that's like Jedi mind trick stuff right there, where you're like leading people to help themselves essentially, not like making a decision for them, but giving them the space to make their own decision.
That's all it's about. I think, and I come from a place of I can't make the decision for you. I can only ask you questions to help you think about it differently, because I think a good question. I just had this conversation at lunch with Monica Crawford. Shout out Monica. She's incredible.
Shout out. Oh my God.
She's incredible. That we all have things that are in our dark.
Yes.
In the fog, right? Jordan Peterson talks about this, right? And I think someone who comes into your life and asks you a question that shines light on that, you either go, oh crap, I didn't realize that was there, or it's collected so much dust I forgot about it. And so a good question does that. And when you do that to someone, they gain a level of respect because that question wasn't asked by anyone else. And you know when you do it, because at least for me, I get goosebumps.
Yeah. Yeah, I like asking someone a question and then they have to like think. Like, you already done it to me like 3 or 4 times on the show. I was like, you know what I mean? I thought I was going to say something. I had to think about it again. Questions are everything, man. One thing that I'll say, getting back into real estate real quick, is like, in terms of a sales process, one thing that I teach our agents is LP Mama, which is an acronym to qualify people for either buyers or sellers. So
teach us about it.
LP Mama stands for location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, appointment. So where do they want to live? What budget? What's their motivation? Which in my opinion is the treasure chest.
That is the most important thing.
That's the question that you're like trying to get in. What's the motivation? Are you working with an agent or are you early in the process? Not, do you have a realtor? Do you have a realtor? Yes. Whoa, don't shoot me. You know what I mean? Or are you working with an agent? You're just early in the process. I'm just early in the process.
You
know what I mean?
That's a really disarming question, and not a lazy question.
No.
Yeah.
Mortgage, do you owe anything on the home that you're thinking about selling? Are you pre-approved? And then appointment, what's the best time for us to meet? If I'm ever lost along the LP Mama trail, I just think, what's the next letter? You know what I mean? So if I'm like asking them about what property and they're like talking to me about Newport Richie and then they're talking to me about crabs that they eat, I'm like, listen, what price are you really looking to spend on this next
You got to
home?
bring them back. You got to bring them back because sometimes you end up down a you're like, how did we get to this?
Yeah.
You're talking to me about your boat and how you need a new thing. Like, what the heck? What are we even doing? Good to know you have a boat, so you need a place to park it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? No, LP Mama. Okay, that's gold.
Yeah.
Right there.
I'm trying to be tactical.
You're not. You are.
Thank you.
You said trying 2 times on this show already. I want to point that out. So stop using
There's
that
no
word.
try, there's only do.
Yes, Yoda.
That's Keller Williams right there, man.
No, that's true. It's true. So just be careful of your words. They matter. How do you think? Do you think in a visualization way? Do you think through word, conceptually, in your mind when you're thinking through something?
I think typically, can I show you how I think? It's through interpretive dance. I'm kidding.
I got excited.
What if I just like broke out? I'm
Yeah.
kidding. Gary Keller says leadership is teaching people how to think.
Okay, but that's not the question. I appreciate you going there. But how does Jared, when you're thinking of the next thing, are you hearing a voice in your head? Is it pictures? Is it conceptual? I'm diving
do
into
I
this
think?
more and more with great minds.
How do I think about what? Everything?
Yes.
I just like try to listen to music and not think, honestly.
And see what shows up. So how does it show up? Is it in
Visual, yeah, definitely visual.
So
the
not in
form-
word.
Like audio more, honestly. Like sometimes what I'll do, as weird as it sounds, like I always have headphones in, and it's because I'm always listening to music and I'm always visualizing things.
That's okay. That's what I was
You know
trying
what
to.
I mean?
I'm asking this question more because I'm noticing that some people listen and think through the voice in their head.
And walk too. If I walk,
I don't know if I'm asking the question well. I think it's tough. Of what's happening in here. Are you hearing your inner voice, or is it conceptual? And you said you visualize.
Yeah.
Right. So, but some people I've recognized think through their inner voice. Like
Why?
it's a talking to
like they
themselves.
have a conversation with themselves.
Yes.
Do you do that?
No.
Okay, good.
But what I found is that's so slow.
Yeah. Like you don't take much action talking to yourself.
I think you can just think faster through conceptual visualization than word.
Definitely.
Am I explaining this well? Are you following me? I know it's deep.
I'm following you. It's so deep.
It's
though,
so
man.
deep. I know. But I'm focusing a lot on great minds, and so
Definitely.
I'm learning about.
I don't know if I would call myself a great mind.
You are. You know, there's something
It's a
about.
malnourished mind, maybe.
All right, we'll pull up out of that one. But
kidding.
it's just interesting to for me to think about.
How do you think? Let me ask you that.
Very conceptually. Not
So let's say someone hits you with a problem. What's your first thought typically around a problem? How do you think about a problem?
I immediately. Well, I need to know more about the problem.
So let's say there's a problem
it's
in your
diagnosis.
career,
It's
and
diagnosis.
it's a culture issue in a team at the office. They're the wrong culture for some reason.
The figuring out the why. Why is it the wrong culture? What about it makes it wrong?
So you naturally go start with why a little bit.
Yeah.
That's like cool. I love now I'm kind of seeing a little bit more about what you're saying. Here's a better way of me explaining how I think. I try to think in models.
Okay.
Meaning
we're now you're
like when I say like oh, I want to do this, like I want to put on a comedy show that I've never done before. I think like who has done this? And I'll like literally go on their Instagram and like get inspired and like look at not even the event that they did, but like just who they are. And I'll look at models of things like that, you know, not all the time, but you know, sometimes like that's how I think.
So it's more around the framework.
Definitely the framework is
Yeah.
a great word for it.
Yeah. Well, the reason I'm asking, and I know if anyone's listening, like, what the heck are y'all talking about? It's my big thing recently, it has been for a while, is 1 + 1 = 3. And it's when two people come together, it brings out more strengths, right? You go further together and you can see each other's strengths and weaknesses. And I think if two minds are exactly the same, it can be powerful, but not as powerful as when minds see differently. Because back to the thing of what I said about asking questions that you can see in the dark, but if we're exactly the same, we might not see the weaknesses because we have the same ones.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think about, there's a great book called Rocket Fuel.
Yes.
You've read it?
I just know Cliff Notes.
You know the Cliff Notes, right?
Practitioner.
Yes. Well, essentially, you know, Steve Jobs had Steve Wozniak. Disney had Walt Disney had his brother. There's always the visionary and then the integrator.
Oh, integrator, yeah.
Yeah. And you need someone who looks like almost an engineering type of mind with the visionary, because the visionary doesn't necessarily know how to bring the vision to life. They just have the vision for it.
Definitely. Well, I think that is a really valid reason of why me and Skabinski worked so well together at Think, is because he was aware that he was the integrator, and I was aware that me and Newman were the visionaries. And he would just have weekly meetings with us. He called them calibration meetings, and we would just get on aligned with each other. And having like the different disc profiles literally sitting around the table, it like made everything 1 + 1 = 3 type of deal, you know. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just fun to dissect how.
Do you have an integrator right now? Who would you say like your top integrator is?
Michael Sill.
Michael Sill, man.
Yeah. Michael Sill and Stephanie,
Yeah.
who runs the office. Yeah,
Woo.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's
What
incredible.
an integrator.
Yep.
And Michael as well. Congrats, Michael.
Yeah. There's multiple, because I'm starting to learn more and more about myself. That I'm such a visionary that I really
You need an army of integrators. That's cool.
Yes.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it's the only way to do more, right? So
Yeah.
we can move fast. And back to the whole thing of why I was asking about thinking is because sometimes I think too fast. Mm-hmm. Right? You get
I have
really-
pills that help me for that. I'm kidding. I start going manic. I'm like,
You end up in the clouds. You're like,
Oh,
man, how do I
yeah.
get back to the ground?
I got to get to the dirt.
Yeah, no, that's cool, and I just appreciate you so much and everything you've done in the short amount of time that you've been here. You know, I know trials and tribulations, but your tenacity to not give up. You show what real grit is. And
Thank you,
so,
man. I was going to give up, man. I was literally thinking about having to leave Keller Williams like 7 months ago, 8 months ago. You know what I mean? So that is really tough. Like when you're looking at this company that you've been with forever, and then I'm like going on Indeed to see if I can get a job at Publix. You know what I mean? And I can't. You know what I mean? So, it's like, so yeah.
What's the funniest thing that's happened to you since you've been in real estate?
Wow. Something really funny happened to me.
That you can share.
No, I know. I'm trying to think, like, even just like this past week, like what happened.
If there's anything, like, what's the first thing? Don't
Okay. So,
filter
like,
them.
all right, my first listing agreement I ever got signed. I go to this place in South Pasadena. It's right on this creek. It's a for sale by owner. And the guy's trying to get me to do it at 3%. And I'm
The whole
like,
thing?
The whole thing.
Yep.
The whole kit and caboodle for
Yep.
3%. And I'm like, sir, you know, not once in history have we done something like that. That's offensive to the buyer agent that we're trying to market the property to. And long story short, I convinced him to like do it at like 5 or something like that, right? And we're outside. It's like June, and I'm in like something like this, dude. When I tell you I've never sweated so much. Bro, we were on my Altima signing the listing agreement, and there's just water on, like, in the ink. Like, it's the worst. Like, compliance probably saw it in command, and they were like, what is this?
Yeah, it's all
what I mean?
smudged up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so, I mean, that's funny, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah,
but
that was just a moment of
just a moment of like, wow, man, I got my first agreement signed, but it's like my blood and sweat is in it,
literally.
and I'm just
That's
like,
a good story.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It was inspiring. But yeah, man, that was really cool. Man, I'm trying to think.
That's all right. It's tough on the spot.
No.
sometimes. Yeah.
Give me 2 more seconds. Well, here's one. Last summer, I had the opportunity to open up for Gary Keller at KWRI. And they were like, Jared, you're going to go up there for 15 minutes. They put me up there for 45, and everything was live streamed.
What was this for? This was for
Keller Williams Next Gen, which is his nonprofit.
Yes.
So I was opening it up for him to about to teach QL, which is like a crazy course all about his life.
Yep.
And they were like, yeah, 15 minutes. As soon as you see Gary, though, just get off the stage no matter what. Dude, I'm just like sitting there like looking for Gary like he's my dad or something, picking me up at soccer practice. I'm like, where are you at, Pops? Like, and I just was like sitting in silence too, like live stream and all, just like sitting there like, all right, yeah. So who else has like calling on people?
Right, just trying to kill time.
But it was fun, man. And that is where I wrote my first joke ever.
Really?
It was in Austin, Texas.
You wrote it while you were up there or later?
No, the day I was about to open up for GK, I wrote a joke about how Gary is the highest paid teacher in all of Texas or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had like this whole bit about how much money Gary Keller has and how like my whole goal with teaching QL is to give out so many scholarships that I drain his bank account. And it's like this inevitable battle of me trying to steal Gary Keller's money. People thought it was funny when I said on stage, and then like afterwards I was like, you know, just going about time, and I forget what might have been June or July of last summer. I was walking with my girlfriend at the time, and we were about to go pool hopping, and she was like, you should just try stand up. And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm going to do it. And then I called the Sunshine, and Kenny answered the phone. I was like, how is this guy so desperate for business that he has his iPhone listed on the Google? But it wasn't his iPhone. It was like a company phone or whatever. And he was just being really nice and was like, yeah, come on through. It's $5 to try it out. And it was fabulous. But yeah, those are some stories.
No, those are great stories to know that your career here led to what could be possibly another great career for you, which I know you're going to do great things.
And then I'm going to get right into the plastic surgery business, and I'm going to become a doctor.
Yeah, that's how it's going to work. Yeah, right.
You're
like, actually, I can do anything.
Moving to Miami.
I'm going to get my degree.
Yeah, I need that, actually.
No, you don't.
True.
Yeah,
well, that's why Publix didn't hire me.
Because I
didn't have a degree.
Oh, well, Publix, bro. Come on.
I was like, you guys won't pay to put me through?
You're like, do you know how many people? I could call all your customers. Get them to buy all the buy one, get ones.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. Publix memberships.
Oh, that's so good. So what's next for you? Where do you see this going? Where are you headed, Jared? People are wondering that. They're definitely wondering. Like, where is this guy going?
I'm heading to eat an aisle, to door knock at least 50 doors and have 20 conversations.
I love that. You're so focused on the now. You're like, the only place I'm going is to where my calendar says.
No, man, I want to get out of the ISA realm personally, manage from afar, because I was marketing manager before that, and I'm still managing that from afar. So I'd like to manage marketing, ISA, and be an agent myself on the team so that I have a little bit more time freedom selfishly. And then
that's leverage.
Definitely. And then I have my podcast that you're so gracious to allow me to record in here, which is called Your Only Friends, and that's a comedy show. So that's going to be coming out, I think, next month. I have a big show September 26th at Sunshine City at 8 o'clock.
We're back in the house.
Yep.
I can't wait.
Enter Jared for $5 off. I tried to get more. I couldn't.
You couldn't.
$5.
$5 is all they would do. Yeah.
But yeah, that's coming up. And then, yeah, man, follow me on Instagram, Jared Dykas.
Yeah, you're wrapping this up. I'm not even done yet.
I'm not done. You were just call to action or something. I'm just trying to pitch.
Good. Hey, we can pitch it again at the end.
Yeah.
But then I lost my train of thought and thinking about
and thinking about trains and thoughts.
Well, what I was really thinking about is how, in terms of negotiations, back to your, like, it's really interesting to talk to you and witness your lack of fear because you're not afraid to ask. And one of my favorite lines I say in front of the room all the time is closed mouths don't get fed, and you take that to the extreme.
Yes, I'm very needy. Okay.
No, well, but that could be a good thing, like, in terms of even
they say ask and you shall receive, right? What's that Bible verse? It's like knock on the door that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I heard God tell me knock on the door, and I was like, I'm knocking, dude.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. But even in that, you're like, you're looking out for your people. You always come from this place of, like, seeing good in people and you know, not afraid. Like, hey, I wanted to get you more off your ticket, so I know you genuinely did ask.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, but you're you know, I'll have to say this. Asking and then, like, not receiving isn't nearly as nice as, like, asking you for something. Like, yo, can I record an episode in here? And you saying yes. Like, the fact that, like, you're the one giving me the opportunity. I really am thankful for that, is what I'm saying.
Oh, well, of course. I mean, that's what we did this for, right? The whole thing. I'm just glad you're doing it.
And you're bringing a great group of agents together, too. I think it's going to be fun to look back on, like, everyone's business, too.
You know, I'm glad. Well, when you said that, like, this thing of, like, I don't know that I've really thought about how we're in this ground up thing, and 5 years from now, we'll be looking back at these and thinking
we'll be at family reunions watching, like, Monica's episode, like, whoa, that's crazy, she said that
as she's on main stage.
Exactly That'd be really cool, man.
It is really cool. This is a very journalistic thing that I didn't realize happened. I have well, he's a friend now, but he's a PhD candidate at Penn, and he's doing his dissertation on independent media producers of St. Pete. And he's interviewed me because of my other podcast, and talking about how this is journalism, in modern day form.
Yeah.
And I never considered this to be journalist type, but I guess let's pretend we were having this interview and now I was just going to go write an article about it.
But you could, because the way you dissect it is very much journalistic. And the thing that I would say to that is, like, at the end of this, you might have some type of playbook from all these agents. You know what I mean? Of like a Tampa or just Real Estate Secrets Unlocked book type of thing.
Could be.
Where I'm just saying there's all this stuff.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's all going out there for everyone to listen to. And I think,
and it's free too, which is really cool.
yeah, it's true. It's just good conversations, right? And then I think as we continue to grow this show in particular, it's like, let's really hone in on the people who are shaping the greater Tampa Bay, and that's in the industry of real estate, right? For now, because that does change the neighborhoods, the vibe, the businesses that come here, all of the above, right? Like there's a large responsibility as a real estate agent.
Definitely.
On shaping the community.
Definitely.
It's powerful.
It's very powerful. I think that people don't realize the power they have sometimes, right? Especially you deal with like commercial agents. Some of these like multi-million-dollar organizations like doing things downtown. That's pretty cool, man.
Well, we just had the whole sales team, not the whole, but a chunk of the sales team, Amber and Rachel from Reflections, which is a whole condo building, right? And they were so responsible from day one of that whole project. I mean, that literally changed the skyline of the city around Mirror Lake. Like, that's impact.
I mean, think about the families that are going to make memories in those places. It wasn't real. It wasn't existing.
Yes.
So that address was not what it is now, you know? So that's really cool, man. I would love personally, I'm trying to do anything to secure something like the Reflection for the Jac Smith Group. Like, I would love to have the opportunity to sell something exclusively like that. We just got our first like development, or not, I don't think it's our first, but we got a development project. It's going to be happening in Largo, which is really exciting.
The townhome project.
Yeah. So, you know, that stuff is exciting to me. Like, I like the marketing campaign side of things. Like, when it's not around just getting more listings and it's like, hey, we got these 12 homes, we need to sell them. Like, how are we going to do it? And then being like real creative about it and then thinking in the frameworks. That's fun.
What's neat about, because you have a great marketing brain. So what are some things? What are some nuggets that you've learned through your journey? One, two, about marketing.
Marketing.
How should people think about marketing?
I think they should think about it in terms of what are you doing currently that you can document and then create content out of.
I don't know how to create content. What was it?
So, okay, I cold call, for example. Let's pretend I'm not on this podcast. I door knock and I cold call. I do it 8 hours every week. Well, I'm going to take 2 of those hours and record myself doing them.
Content.
Just iPhone. And then I'm going to go on Fiverr and say, here's a Google Drive of 20 clips. Can you make something cool? Or I'll ask AI, you know.
Do you ever think about the psychology behind marketing?
No, I don't, honestly. And it's been like on a radar of mine to do something like a case study. Like, I want to invite some of our past clients into the office and be like, hey, look at this marketing material. Look at this marketing material, and get real into that. Our coach, Michael Reedy, told me to do that. I just haven't done it yet.
Okay.
So I'd like to get more like that. But I know Seth Godin and some other marketers are very into like the behavior of marketing. And it's interesting.
It's influential, right? You're influencing decisions, even on a subliminary, subconscious level on what people are making decisions and biases to do. I know, I always go so deep. It's tough, though. That's where I live. You're in my head right now.
No, I love it here. Yeah. I can't swim.
You can't.
So deep.
We're too deep, man. You can't swim. I can't come up for some air. Just because I don't care. If people are still listening this long, that's great. Tell me about this other... Can we talk about that other show or no?
Your Only Friends?
Well, that and what you want to do, bro. You asked me a big thing today.
Oh,
I'm just using this as opportunity to talk.
The one about the other one.
Yeah, we don't have to say exactly.
Not the downtown one. The one where I want you to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have an idea for my podcast called Your Only Friends, where I'm interviewing my friends who are like into comedy or just my friends in general about comedy or just comedic things, and it's just funny. I was like, you know, when the show goes well in September, I'm going to pitch to the owner, like, hey, I want to do another show 15 minutes of me headlining, and then like 4 to 5 of my friends who've never done comedy, who are a virgin to the mic, do 3 to 5 minutes. And Mr. Ryan Bogdan was a heavy requested guest on that list.
Dude, that makes my armpit sweaty.
Yeah. That would be epic, wouldn't it? That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Everyone would come see that.
I don't know, man. Would you help me?
I would help you, but I told Nick, I said it would be Nick, Bill, probably Silvio, and then like you as like the person right before me. And I would host it and then end off. But like I'd edify you so people know who you are if they don't, know who you are and stuff. And it would just be fun, man. Like it's like
I see the vision.
It's like they've never done it.
Yeah.
It's raw. It's like you're gonna like slip up and mess up, but it's funny still.
No,
Your
I'm
friends
okay.
are
That's
there.
where like the thought that it makes my armpit sweaty tells me I need to do it.
Well, that's what Rogan said it on that Adam Sandler thing, right? About him being afraid or whatever to do the live Netflix. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I'm game. I'm just shooting the shit with you now. Like, but I would want some help. Like, I would have to write a bit.
Well, that's all you have to do is write.
Right, and then practice it and say, "Is this funny?
But
How do we
you are so like think about you in front of the sales meetings.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to make people laugh. Maybe I do, or sometimes.
But you're not trying to make people laugh, but you do make people laugh every time at the sales meeting. You make people laugh, right, Megan? Everyone,
right, Megan? Come on, help me out here.
Come on, right? Like.
Yeah,
I feel like you make people laugh. You're a funny guy. Bill's funny. Sylvia's funny. Nick is funny. Everyone's funny.
Yeah, those guys are way funnier than me.
No, you said to me months ago, I'm thinking about travel. I was thinking about writing.
I was
looking at the pen and I was like, should I pick it up?
Yeah. It's true. I think it'd be no matter what, it'd be a hell of an experience. That's for sure. And back to this whole thing, and I can tie it back to real estate because people are like, where are you at right now? Is just fear. And I think doing more things that make you fearful is a good thing. Yes. Especially when like, go up on that stage and bomb, am I going to die?
Yeah.
No. I jump out of airplanes. I could die doing that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that's how I that relationship with fear for me is like, oh, let me look at it right in the eyes. I want to look at the lion right in the eyes and smell its breath.
Because you get less afraid that way. I think if you're on offense about fear, it's way better than being on defense about fear, if that makes sense.
Gary Kett, we can talk about that. He talked about at the CEO summit of purposely putting stress into your life, so that way you're stress tested. Right. Like how do you know if something's going to break? And you can let the world stress test you, or you can set yourself up in environments to stress test.
Wow.
Right. So think about like the gym is an easiest example. Right. But even tough conversations.
Oh, whoa. Yeah.
You have a tough conversation, the next one's a little bit easier. Next one's a little bit easier, right? Rather than getting forced into a tough conversation and you never were prepared for it.
Do the hard things on purpose, right? Is what people say. I'm going to put Legos in my socks for 10 days straight. Just walk around St. Pete like, yo.
Just to make my feet tougher.
Oh, my God.
Where's your, like, that's the stuff, like, that just came out of left field.
Came out of left, man.
Or have you said that before?
No. I was going to say I was going to drench my socks in water, and then I randomly thought of the Lego thing at the last second.
That sucks, dude. I got a nephew, 1-year-old. You step on a toy, man. That's not...
It stinks. Aren't you... I heard that you're taking a little vacay.
Yes.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Congrats. That'll be really fun with Leo.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's going to be awesome.
That's really exciting. Austin's going too, obviously.
Awesome. Yeah, the whole family's going. Yeah.
Your sis, man. That's awesome, dude. That's such a cool lifestyle, bro. Like to travel with your family and go to vacation.
Yeah, we'll see if we all come back in one piece.
Oh, man, dude. Wow, Leo's already going there. What a king, dude.
He's a stud. He's got a mullet right now.
No way. Yeah. That's like Austin.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It's good. All right, we're way off. What's one thing that we should have tell the people? Go jump in the cold end of the pool.
Yep. Go
do something that's scary. It doesn't have to be cold call, but go do something scary. I think that's the theme of this show.
But cold call. Pick one FISBO, call them, and tell them Jared Dykas sent you.
I'm calling because Jared Dykas sent me. Like, oh, he called me this morning.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. For the real OGs, the real dedicated fans, what's one word they should comment so we know that they're still here?
Immaculate.
Immaculate. If you can even spell that, comment that below, because I don't know that I can. And how do they find you, Jared? Because you're an incredible human being. I want people to connect with you.
I will be on Instagram, Jared Dykas.
Jared Dykas.
And Your Only Friends podcast on Instagram as well.
Boom. And your comedy show?
is September 26th at Sunshine City.
Sunshine City. Is that St. Pete Beach or Treasure Island?
St. Pete Beach.
St. Pete Beach.
Yep.
Yep. So many golden nuggets in here. So appreciate you, bro. This was a lot of fun.
I can't wait to watch this. When do you think it'll come out?
When's this coming out? 3 weeks?
Cool.
3 weeks.
Awesome. Sometime in September. Probably around my show.
Maybe. I think so. You're probably right.
That'd be cool.
Yep. Have fun door knocking today. Good luck.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you. If you're still here watching, like, comment, share with a friend, tell someone about this, and go do something scary. Appreciate you all. See you on the next one.